Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we're about to So today we're gonna have a conversation about relationships, dating in your 20s, and just like our experiences, like intertwined with faith, tips, all that.
Yeah, it's just gonna be an informal conversation.
Okay. You have like a starting question or a starting topic?
Yeah. I mean, we mentioned faith. Like, how do you feel like your faith changed how you approached your relationships? I guess from the point of like not having as much faith or not having that, a strong relationship with
Relationships,
God.
dating in general.
Yeah, to like having more faith, because I think that's
Okay.
gonna like maybe bring.
That's
to
a good
point.
question. And I don't know, because 20s is ranging from when I was like in college to now. But I would say, I mean, it was a drastic change because in college, like my faith was just like where college was when I was having like the biggest struggle with my faith. And so I don't even think that it was like a big consideration in relationships at a point. Like, I think I would like, want to date someone who was a Christian. That was still important to me. But like, I think for one, where I am today, it would have weeded out a lot of people like beforehand. I mean, now let me tell y'all now, I don't have much dating experience, but I'm just saying it would have weeded out some people. So yeah, I think it would have just changed my expectations. I think I already had like high standards in a certain capacity, but like it would have changed my standards too. I mean, even with like sex before marriage, I was still like that was still something like at a point that was like, okay, I was gonna deal with guys who just wanted to have sex and all that, so that was still a consideration for me. But I think even like going back to standards and just treatment, I think when you like value yourself and know who you are and like knowing yourself as God's child, then like how someone should like treat you, the respect that they should have, and all that, what love truly is like from a biblical sense. I don't know, there's so much I could add on to that, but like I'm just thinking off the dome right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I would say likewise for me in the sense that if a woman was like more like centered in God during that time, that wasn't something that I was able to see the value in. And so it didn't necessarily make a difference, or I wouldn't say that that was something that I was looking for. And that is something that I felt like I should have been looking for.
It was something I wasn't running from.
Yeah, so I feel like that was something that I should have been more aware of, and like how that can influence the relationship. But when you aren't there yourself, then that's not really something that you really value in others. But yeah, like when you're not there yourself, then you can't see that in others. And so I think more so just like as I started to understand it more and it started to be more of a consideration, I think it really allowed for like the people that were coming into my life that kind of like weren't that, as you mentioned, like being more like filtered out.
Yeah. It filters people out heavy, honestly.
And then you realize like the things that you had initially thought were important. It's not that they're not as important, but you realize that like what should be at the forefront.
No, that's good though.
Of like a deciding factor of whether you should be with this person, because I don't think people view faith as important as it should be, because if someone has faith, if someone has a relationship with God, this could potentially be someone that is like with you when like something happens to your parents, like with you on like some of your worst days, and like if that person can keep you grounded over something as simple as like, well, this person has money, this person has this, like
I was gonna add, because to your like I would say now that is like the number one thing for me. Well, before I got in a relationship, but that's like the number one thing when I'm dating, or when I was dating, is looking for someone who is a Christian. Like that's very important to me. And just like where they are, like their opening, what's the word I'm looking for? Their openness and willingness to like actually be led by God. Like that's a very important factor to me. So I would say now that's number one. And don't get me wrong, like I think initial attraction kind of has to be there when you're dating people, but I would say like that would over like stupid stuff when I was younger, like in my earlier 20s of like not wanting to date people over like what's the word? Where like stuff that's
superficial.
Yeah, superficial. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, what do you feel like is wrong with dating in the 21st century today?
Okay. I mean, one, I'll say from my perspective as a Christian is a lack of God in people's relationships. I would say ultimately, like that's an individual thing as well. Mm-hmm. Like just us as individuals, not being strong in our faith. That would be number one. Social media would probably be number two to me. I think people's like opinions are so heavily influenced by social media, and it like does this thing of like men versus women, like pitting people against each other. I think even some of the like stuff on social media like is not how people think in real life, but the way they portray it on online.
Yeah.
There's so many things like just I mean
I feel like the romance isn't the same anymore.
Romance isn't the same.
I don't know, maybe that's just based off of the movies. That's not to say that we don't have romance now.
But the illusion of options, like you were talking about, because I was about to say the dating apps, but I don't like to like completely say that because people meet their partners on dating apps. But I think like social media and dating apps is just so many. It feels like you have like
I would say the romance because there aren't as many strictly in-person interactions for that like true. Initial interaction meeting someone rather than like you can meet someone on social media and then like you can like spin something off of that.
Yes, and then meeting on social media is like you have your perception of that person is how they like the way they
they can curate their page.
Can curate their page, so it's like without that like real first interaction, like it kind of you can't really get that same initial feeling. I mean, but like
and with social media, I feel like unrealistic expectations. Is also like an important aspect.
Comparison.
Both placed on men and women. From social media, and I feel like it sometimes takes away from just getting to know someone outside of whatever you expect them to do. Yeah, like I was saying, those unrealistic expectations, like in relationships and how it can affect, like just truly getting to know someone. Obviously, there are expectations. But it shouldn't be like you're on Instagram and you see that this guy took this girl out to like some amazing restaurant and like that's what you should want out of a man. I don't know if you remember, but there's like a lot of discourse about like Cheesecake Factory and whether that's like
like that. I'm like, why?
Stuff like that. Like there's always.
But I was gonna say that like what I feel like the main things are like women's complaint against men right now is like they feel like they're kind of doing better, like financially or like success wise or even like the drive. I would say it's just like what I see them most often. Also, there's something else I was gonna add. But I think the romance, like you were saying, like that effort, like women don't feel like men put in that like same effort before, like, the conversation about flowers and all that stuff. Now that type of stuff, me personally, I do feel like a man does not like you if he won't buy you some flowers or something. Cause like, it's just not that simple. But, and then I feel like on the man side, what you can add, like the complaint against women that like they're gold diggers and they only want guys for like what they can do for them.
I mean, I feel like just in general, unrealistic expectations of men, and it needs to be more, because I know like you've seen the conversation and discourse about like, okay, if you want a man making this amount of money, then this is the percentage. Right, and like like 6-figure man, like 50-50,
6 foot height.
I mean, these are conversations that are had. And I think there's a difference between like having a conversation and like it being like a reality. That's not to say that it doesn't exist. Like there are men that make a lot of money. Men that are like very successful. Men that will like take care of you. Like all these things exist, right? But like having those like expectations at times can like keep you away from like a good man.
And
that's not saying you can't do that.
Yeah, vice versa. What I'll say is like, we need to go back into what is our intentions when dating. Like, is your intentions only what that person can like do for you?
Yeah.
Like,
it's actually crazy.
You gotta kind of like really deep. Why are you dating? And I think like also from a Christian perspective, the whole point of dating is to get married. And so like, do you really know the like heavy weight of marriage? The reason.
This brings up a good point.
Even like the reason people don't even know the importance of marriage, why they want to get married, like all those things are very important. And so if you're only dating from an aspect of like, oh, what can this person do for me, like, and that's easy to like cut people off from that too.
This makes me think of like something that I should have done before getting into dating, and I feel like I should have been more, I don't know if the term is like comfortable with myself, but like kind of like understanding like what it takes to be in a relationship, and like where you should be in yourself, like rooted in yourself before you get in a relationship with anyone else, because that can cause like a lot more like problems. And so like once you're like rooted in yourself and like where you're at, like you know that you're good, then it's like you can get into a relationship where you can like potentially think about it. But no one really does that, right? Like you don't think about, well, how can like where I'm at like kind of affect, you know, someone else. Like it's really important, and I say that not before getting into another relationship from being in one, but just like
in
before
general,
you're gonna like start dating. Just like from space, like as well, like you have to be able to like have space and room for someone as well. Like there are certain periods in your life where you may not be able to like have the capacity for someone as well. There's just a multitude of things, but I think that's something that I would say like I realized before, like, you know, after the fact of like dating, that like I wish I would have taken more time to like really sit with myself and like think about stuff like that. And I hadn't have, and I think if I really would have sat and thought about it, like what would I actually want in a partner? I don't know how many people actually do that, right? Like sit down and be like what would I want, and like what does this mean for me? You know?
I think to a degree, at least for women, I think they consider, but I do think to your point, a lot of that consideration is like, what can people do for you? Like, too.
Because it's like, I think I was just thinking about like initially like the things I would like in someone. But like I never really sat with myself and like, okay, where am I at? Like, what does this mean? Like, where do I need to be mentally? Like, because at the end of the day, any form of partnership requires you to really focus and see where you're at, so then you can make the betterment of two people. If you're not for the betterment of yourself, you're never going to be for the betterment of anyone else, because you're not even, you know, there for yourself.
That's true.
And at times, if you can't care for upkeep for yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally, then it's just going to go way, way worse if you're like trying to add someone else to that. That goes for like, you know, like
self-awareness. Honestly.
People just having other people in their lives in general. So,
could have used that too. What else I have to add with the problem with dating is people like dating people who don't like them. And like not valuing yourself and enough to kind of like, I feel like you know, and you'll see by the effort that someone puts in how much they like you. And I think like especially as women, you know, we really romanticize love, relationships, all that. And so like we're willing to kind of like deal with a lot more, or like try and like keep seeing a situation through. But I feel like while you're dating and you're young, like it not over materialistic or like stupid stuff. What's the I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. But
that's
like
a good point.
Not over small things, but over like, okay, you can tell the effort someone puts in if they truly like you, if they value you. And it's like you should be quicker to like end those situations and move on and like date people who actually like you, because you would really save yourself a lot of heartbreak and heartache if you were only dating people who actually liked you. But it's like people are in these like situationships and all this stuff because, you know, they're like...
You're giving them some form of validation. I feel like it starts internally, like...
That's true. It's like loving yourself. It really has to be loving yourself.
To like really be able to choose. Because if you give yourself a certain level of treatment and upkeep, if this person isn't even doing what you can do for yourself, it's kind of like, you know...
Because if you start talking to like a guy and like they don't try and take you out on a date after just texting, like.
Well, one, like, it's showing that he doesn't really have any like plans for you.
Yeah.
Or, like, he's not intentional
Yeah,
about, you know.
it's just something to
Yeah.
like to do, just out of boredom.
Yeah, but people do that. Like,
Yeah. So,
people that don't like
or
that.
like if they're only trying to link up like at night, or like where they're trying to link up, and just the intentions for that.
Yeah.
But I will say also, I be seeing some women like, oh, they were complaining like if a man was to take them out on like a coffee date or like something small. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I actually think it's nice to kind of break the ice too and get to know someone. Like, if they were like, oh, it's nice outside, we could like go for a walk and go get some ice cream. Like, if it's something attached to it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, now I feel like it should just be about like getting to know someone.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it's for. And if something simple can like facilitate that like first interaction.
Cause like, okay, they might just take you on a coffee date or like go on the walk, and then the next date they plan something like nicer, bigger. Like, I mean, they could like, okay, for the coffee date, like bring some flowers or something sweet to make it a little more like romantic. But I feel like declining a date because they want to like not take you out to like the most expensive dinner off rip is just like.
Yeah, I feel like a man that, either way, I would say a man that leads with money kind of shows where his values lies in and the type of person that he is. Not to say that there aren't good men that lead with money. Yeah. But like if he's like leading with money, he's also like seeking something superficial from you. Yeah. Like I feel like a man that's leading with money may also be seeking something superficial.
Yeah, because there's like,
people
it's kind
do
of
that.
an exchange.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say I feel like people that are like superficial kind of have that kind of. Like they're very equal in that regard.
Yeah.
Like a man may want you for your body, you may want him for his money.
Yeah.
And so he may do that, but it may not be genuine. Right. So sometimes when we view something that's like a lot smaller or not up to our expectations, goes back to expectations again, it can still be genuine. Yeah. It just kind of depends on one, like how do you understand what real genuineness looks like. It doesn't have to be attached to money.
Okay, let's talk about some like phrases they be saying. What do you think about when they be like, if he wanted to, he would?
Yeah, I mean, it can depend, but I feel like all in all, I definitely agree with the sentiment. Like, if someone wants to do something, they're definitely going to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. My perspective on if he wanted to, he would is like, I think overall, to your point. Like, I think men are very intentional and they know. And there's a big difference between when a guy likes you and when he doesn't like you. And, like, I feel like most men that really like you, they're willing to do, like, so much for you. Like, they're, you know. But I would say, like, there is an aspect of that where there comes in, like, communication. Like, some people just don't naturally know to do certain things or getting to know you, what you like and stuff. And so it's okay to like communicate with someone as well. Like there's basic things you shouldn't have to teach somebody, I think, but then there's some things where it's okay to communicate because maybe something for you like you appreciate or don't appreciate, and that's just something they would have to get to know.
Yeah, I feel like it's expectations and capacity, but generally yes, I feel like if he wanted to, he would is a true statement. Yeah. Because you shouldn't have to feel like you don't deserve someone's like love naturally, or like you just don't deserve good things. Like those are just things that should just feel intrinsic. Like you should kind of feel these things, and I feel like that's kind of like how my perspective like of the statement. Like if someone wants to show love to you, they're just gonna do those things naturally. Exactly. And so you never have to think about it like. In any instance where I've like felt loved, I never like had to think, well, does this person want to love me? Does this person like want to do these things? It's just like very natural. Yeah. And you never want to be in a situation where you feel like, oh, I have to kind of force this person. Yeah, to do something. For even if they do it after you force them, it's kind of like you kind of wanted to do. Would they really do this
if you didn't? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Facts. Okay. The other one was like, don't let a boyfriend or a girlfriend stop you from meeting your husband or wife. I think that's a good phrase. I'm not. Wait. Hold on. Let me. Because I was thinking about I think I was thinking more so about what we were saying about dating, like the dating phase of like being quicker to like cut somebody off if like they're showing that they don't like you. But I will say even with relationships, I don't think you should easily give up on people.
Okay.
But if someone is like clearly like just not for you,
Mm-hmm.
or you know, not putting in the effort,
Mm-hmm.
the like once you communicate and you
Yeah.
exhaust your options, don't
Yeah.
keep beating a dead horse and
Yeah,
trying to force something
Yeah,
to work.
I agree. I would say don't be too attached on the title.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, it's
they're
not,
your
y'all aren't
boyfriend.
married.
Yeah, they're your...
Well, yeah, I mean, you're not like that, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, no,
I think
but that
like
is important. That is
Yeah,
your boyfriend versus your husband.
Yeah.
And so I would say there's that like
know your role with that.
when you're like marriage is so important
Mm-hmm.
that like even if you've been in the longest term
Mm-hmm.
relationship and like it really just
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, you know, it would not be like fruitful to marry that person. It's better to make that decision beforehand than go into a union that could like just be detrimental.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
To your life. Yeah.
That's true.
But don't be out here cheating.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not
like,
saying
yeah,
that.
no, you're not saying. Don't,
Wait.
don't be out here cheating.
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about I'm trying to
That's not
find my
my
wife or
husband,
my
yeah.
husband. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like, don't use that as an excuse to be at the club. Like, yeah, don't let my trying to find your wife. That's crazy.
Because if your boyfriend is a good thing, he's a potential husband.
Yeah.
You know.
I saw a video about that the other day, and a woman was saying like it's okay to build with a man, like,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say especially like I think we are in our like 20s, mid 20s, and so like, and you might be a little bit younger.
Yeah.
It's okay. It is okay to build with the man, I would say. But what I think is you should not be as a woman right now like being the one to push him and motivate
he should have potential.
him.
Yeah, I think we have to like.
And I would
we have to
say
go back on
acting
what does that look
on
like?
the potential.
Yeah. What does that look like?
Don't date for potential.
Sure.
Do not. I say don't date for potential. Don't do it because I think so many people have potential, but
Yeah.
are they like? You see them putting in the effort
Yeah.
to like become that man. If they're not putting in the effort,
Yeah.
then no, like don't.
Yeah,
date
I mean,
them.
you should build with a man that's like maybe in undergrad. You know, he's gonna go to law
Yeah,
school,
that's
he's
what
gonna
I'm
be a
thinking
doctor.
about.
Or even like you know that he has certain aspirations of like owning a business. And
You
he's, like,
see them
very
doing it.
hardworking.
But if he's
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this and
Yeah,
that, and just be talking like,
yeah, like.
But it's okay to build because like, and then like a man will really appreciate a woman who did build with him and like
Yeah, true.
she wasn't just with him for when he got to like his
Yeah.
highest point, but
Yeah.
was like,
because technically we're all building
Yeah.
to a certain extent because the woman that you're with, like, she doesn't have everything that you would
Yeah.
expect, and like there kind of is a form of like, well, we're working
Yeah,
up to
exactly.
something, and so yeah, I don't.
I think it's okay to like kind of want to date people who are kind of in the same like.
general.
General doing the same as you. But yeah, I would say just strictly potential. Don't date off of potential. Date off of what someone is showing you, like what the like facts are and what you're receiving. If someone's just talking and there's no action, no. What was your like biggest misconception about relationships? And like what you thought it would be and like dating like throughout your 20s.
I didn't know how much work it was going to be and how much it was going to like show the things that I actually needed to work on. Because I didn't really
was gonna say
understand.
something so simple.
Yeah, I didn't really understand like what I actually need to work on, or like even like, I guess like my traumas, for lack of better
Yes.
terms, with like dealing with people. Because like when you're in a relationship with someone, it's like very up close
Yeah.
and like kind of know you better than you know yourself in some instances. So
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, I didn't know how much it was gonna highlight some of the things that I actually need to work on.
Yeah.
And like even more so like the person highlighting specifically like what I need to do better.
Yes. I was going to say pretty much a very similar sentiment. I didn't realize how much it would reveal about me, like as a person. I think relationships are like, if you really want to see the flaws in yourself, like that's
Exactly.
one of the main things that will really bring that out is like
Yeah.
a relationship and dating someone. And
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
it really just makes you like see yourself like in like all the things that
Exactly.
you have to work on. But
How much work it is. I think I
yeah,
mean, like
that effort
actually, yeah, like
and
the
how
actually-
intentional you
yeah, I
have to
think
be.
after that like initial like honeymoon
Because you think
phase,
that's what I was gonna say. Because you think it's
Yeah.
just gonna be all lovey-dovey,
Yeah, all
perfect,
lovey-dovey,
just because
perfect,
you
yeah.
really like have feelings for the person.
But you can really be like fighting with this person because it's
Yeah.
like you kind of realize that it's so easy to be in like conflict with someone that kind of grew up drastically different than you. And so when you get in that situation, like you can have so many things that you argue and fight about.
Yeah.
And you have to really be like super good at like conflict resolution, be a good communicator. Like it's like one of those things, like it's actual work. It's not actually just
it's
like,
not like there's such a romanticizing of like romanticizing. There's such a like people romanticize relationships so much without like really talking about the effort that has to go behind it. And I would say this is where like the church and the Christian community could do a lot better job of like teaching people those things, discipling people in that way, because I think now there's probably more conversations and stuff with like social media, and I think more like younger pastors and stuff. But I would say like giving like really thorough like dating advice and like what it will be like to like date someone. And to your point, like what are the things I have to work on as a person, because like we can really hurt people when we don't deal with the issues that we have and going into relationships and putting that on someone else.
I feel like the world or like even social media isn't like catered to just like relationships in a way for like the most fruitful relationships. So you have to like be intentional by yourself. There's some things you kind of have to learn and like understand about like what it means to be in a relationship.
Okay, so outside of some of the things you already said, if you could give your younger self or younger men advice on like dating in their 20s or like just anything you've like experienced so far, like we're of course still learning and growing ourselves, but just from anything you've already experienced.
It's gonna sound cliche, but just making sure that you're doing the work internally and treating other people how you would want to be treated.
That's fair.
I feel like those are like two big things that like, you know, will get you very far. If you're doing the work internally, one, that means you're doing a lot of self-reflecting. Because I've realized, and I'm like as getting older, like it's not really more so about like what is happening on the outside or like what other people are doing, but what am I doing for myself and like what am I like recognizing for myself? Because people don't want to admit it, but sometimes people are the problem. Like, some people are the problem, and it's like it's more important for you to identify when you're the problem. You know,
than
like
trying to put something on everybody else all the time.
On everyone else, because at the end of the day, you always have to sit with yourself. So sit with yourself above all else, and like if you treat other people how you would like to be treated, that means at the very least that like one, like you're gonna be respectful, you're gonna be understanding, like you're gonna be compassionate. Like there's so many traits and characteristics that you would have. So that's what I would do. What about you?
For women, like mine is cliche too, but I would say knowing your worth. And I just feel like I already said that, but I think it's so important because like we said before, like women really like value love, relationships, and it's kind of just like we're already, you know, like sensitive and emotional, and like the way like through media and all that stuff, like love is just romanticized, is like we really are like so like pressed to have that like love and all those things, but like truly knowing your value will just weed out so many people, and you'll be okay to sit with yourself and even not be in a relationship until you're ready for like the right person to come around, because like you could just save yourself so much like heartache and just so many different things if you really like just valued yourself as a woman. You are the prize as a woman.
It's good.
Like you shouldn't date any man who doesn't think you are.
It's good. It's really good. I have another one now. Don't fall into the trap of what you think love should look like. You and your partner should define what love looks like for
between you two.
Yeah. Because you know, as we're in the age of social media, and you're like seeing all these things. Some of them may be grand gestures. Like you may see someone like throw like the biggest thing for their girlfriend. Whole time they could be beating her. It's crazy.
I mean,
no. I mean, just saying like.
No, but that's real. That's real though. Like,
Don't like just. Like what love,
or where they're at in their life. Like if someone is doing the best for you that they can do in that moment, and they're really hearing you and your needs and all that, then that's what is important. Because I mean, like you said, social media is only what you see online. People can make it look, you know, so much better than what it is.
A healthy part of a relationship where you can like strip away anything else that like isn't what it actually should be.
Yeah.
Cause like that's the difference, right? We come into things with expectations, and then there's like reality.
Yes.
Right. So like what you and your partner do, to a certain extent, it's gonna be influenced by things that you see or things that you heard.
Yeah.
But you have to like, it's very healthy to understand that what you guys have is going to be what you guys have.
Yes. Comparison is truly the thief of joy. Like, I kind of talked about that in the other video that I made, but like, you can even allow that to create issues in your relationship, like what you're seeing online and stuff versus like what you're experiencing in your relationship and where you're at. But I would say, as someone's like truly putting the effort in and like, you know, really hearing you out and like trying, then that's what's like important. And if not, then maybe, you know, they're just not the person for you. I wanted to add on what people want relationships for. I think another problem is that like people in general are looking for people to be their happiness. And like, if a person cannot be your happiness, like, and that's the importance of having a faith-centered, like a God-centered relationship, because your happiness should only be found in God. And like, when you start to make someone in like your complete happiness,
like an idol,
an idol in your heart, and like they just have that much like power and control over your like emotions and stuff
all over you,
then that's like really detrimental to you as a person in your relationship.
That's why you have to really sit with yourself too and like know what is the intention you want in a relationship. If it's like rooted in some sort of like happiness,
and that's easy to idolize your partner. Like, it's very easy to do that, because like you're trying to distinguish between like love and like not allowing that person to become an idol in your life. But that's like why you really have to cultivate your relationship with God, because like when that is like the center of the relationship, then it will like change that and like not allow that person to get too high above. Like, you still need to be held accountable to God.
Because I mean, you potentially never know, right? Like, this person could be in your life for a long time or a short time, and so when they leave,
then what? And it get like, because relationships really like be destroying people and like be having you bent over, weak in the knees. And of course, like, you know, that's love and kind of heartache and heartbreak that comes with relationships, but you have to be able to like bounce back from that.
I agree. I feel like someone shouldn't be your sun, right? So if they're no longer in your life, you have no light. Someone should be more so.
Oh, he ate that.
Like orbit.
He ate that.
He's
a poet.
Now I was waiting to get that one out.
You was thinking about that one. He ate that.
Yeah. Don't be the sun, be the moon. You can still like orbit.
That's a song?
No.
Okay.
It's come from me.
Nah, you heard that somewhere.
Nah, someone told me. Where should you go for
like where you should go for advice? One, I think you should be in your word, because I think it teaches you how to operate as a person in general. I would say too, like discipleship and like older married couples that have like good practical advice. There may be like groups in your church or something like that, because like I said, I do think churches now are doing a better job. I would say don't be influenced by like social media and what, like, because on TikTok and all that, like, you could literally just scroll upon a video that's just giving unsolicited relationship advice that I don't even think is fruitful. Especially like for a Christian, a faith-based relationship. So I wouldn't just take things from the internet. I also wouldn't like, I would say look at the fruits of someone's relationship too, their past relationships. Like, you don't have to just take dating advice from your parents or elders in your life if you don't feel like they have that fruitfulness in their relationship, nor like friends. Like, just because it's like a person you value doesn't mean that they're going to give you the best advice. And someone who can be objective and fair, because sometimes like the people you love, like they're gonna always like kind of take your side on things or not really be able to see the bigger picture of things. So like a good third party mediator, or if you have a therapist and you talk to your therapist,
his own professional.
Where
not to go, people that aren't in relationships.
That's true.
Or aren't in fruitful relationships.
Yeah, that aren't in fruitful relationships.
Or aren't in a relationship that you aspire to be in.
Yeah.
Because, like, what they're telling you, it's not based off of anything that they know personally.
Yeah.
I feel like relationship advice is, like, one of those things where people... I feel like it's, like, one of the only things where people just... Everyone has an opinion on it. Even though they may not have been in one, like, a healthy relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, like, everybody can have something to say, but you want someone who's going to be, like, fair, objective. And I would say, like, you should try also communicating with your partner effectively. You should be able to seek advice from other people as well. Like I said, that's why I was saying, like, a church group or someone older who can kind of have more experience than you. I was saying all that to say, though, like, I don't think as far as, like, friendships or family members, you should go to them with, like, every single
it shouldn't be that, but there should be, like, advice, and it may not even have to be advice that's, like, centered around current issues within the relationship. It could just be on advice on how to navigate the relationship in general, like, things that you should be doing. I feel like that's an importance. But yeah, I feel like there also is an importance of, like, whatever you guys are going through should also, like, stay with you guys to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
Like, you want to be able to deal with your problems, you know, in-house, for lack of better terms.
Yeah, being able to, like, communicate, which we can add on to communication, like,
it's huge.
Yeah, because I was going to say, some people, it was like a question of, like, do you think that's, like, an overly used piece of advice? But I think, like, oh, everyone says it, but it's not done.
And it can mean a bunch of different things. It can
mean so many different things. Yeah. But, like, communication could really, like, how many, like, relationships have ended for a lack of just communication? Like,
or
if
communicating properly.
Yeah, communicating properly, comprehending.
Yeah.
What someone's saying, like, I don't think it's an overused piece of advice. I think it's constantly reiterated because people don't communicate, and so, like, you keep hearing that, but, like, that could really change the whole, like, situation.
Yeah, just because you're talking, it doesn't mean that you're communicating.
That's true.
Yeah.
You might not even be saying how you really feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I feel like communication is one of those things that deals with honestly listening first, understanding, because you can listen, and then if you don't listen then understand, then the point of you first listening is
and you have to be in a place to listen.
Yeah,
because really, like, if pride is in your heart, if anger is in your heart or something, then you're not, like, probably really listening
How are you
to
listening?
that person. Yeah,
like, where is it coming from?
That's why I would say God is just so important in relationships, because, like, all of that stuff just keeps you, like, humble and grounded, and, like, you realize that you can't have pride in your relationships. Like, there's so many things that you wouldn't, like, do to your partner or treat your partner that way when you are, like, holding yourself to that standard that God holds you to. I mean, you're still gonna make mistakes, but you're just like, you can recognize that you're wrong more and be able to, like, apologize and all that.
Yeah, I feel like communication goes along with, like, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
As well, because I feel like to be a really good communicator in a relationship, you have to be very emotional intelligent.
Facts.
Sometimes you have to say some things towards your partner that may not be the nicest thing, but it's what they need to hear. But you need to know how to say it.
How to say it? That's so important, bro. That's facts. That's facts. But I feel like people, like, think it's okay, like, to just communicate stuff any type of way, and, like, how you communicate something. My thing is this, like, do you really want the person to receive what you're saying? Because if you know, you should know who you're speaking to, and you know if you communicated a certain way that they're not even going to hear what you said because you've offended them in, like, what you're saying, instead of, like, trying to, like, effectively communicate.
Yeah, then you missed the point.
Yeah, you didn't really want them to, like, change or receive what you're saying if you did it in a way you knew that was going to, like, upset them.
That's true, but also you don't want to have the spirit of offense as well.
You don't. No, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
A whole nother video.
You don't want to have the spirit of offense.
The spirit of offense, because...
Yeah, you have to. It's really tricky, and I think that goes back to what we were saying before. I didn't know how much work it takes, and, like, just being able to really take constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when someone's criticizing you, you automatically want to get defensive.
For
But
sure.
you have to understand that, like, if this is the person that you want to be with, you want to be a better person.
Yeah, for that.
You want to be a better person
for yourself. Yeah.
And so if it's like they're telling you something, you have to like really take it into consideration and like work on trying to change it if possible.
Okay, so that's a wrap on this video. This was just like general thoughts on dating in our generation. Not like too much advice, just our thoughts. But
Yeah,
like,
just a conversation.
Hopefully, like something blessed you in the conversation.
Yeah, you got something from it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So that's it, and I'll see you in the next video.
Till next time.
Till next time you're here. We don't know if that'll be the next video.
I'll always be here.
Okay. Bye. Love you guys.